Hi, welcome to PR Playback. I'm Russ Rhea, filling in this week for Jeff Hahn. And this week's question comes from Jana in Round Rock, and it's a pretty common question we get. She's asking, I'm hoping you might be able to offer some tips on how to get a press release noticed. I only send out releases to local newsroom when we actually have something to announce, but they never run anything. Well, Jana, thanks for your question, and it is true, most press releases do not see the light of day. There was a survey recently with newsrooms across the country, and the average newsroom gets about 215 press releases every day. So at best, you can figure that your press release will only get a short glance. But we do have 4 questions here that you can ask yourself to determine whether or not your news item is actually newsworthy to newsrooms, and maybe some guidance on how you can shift your pitch or your press release into something that might interest a newsroom. So here are those 4 things to consider to determine whether your item is newsworthy or not. Number 1, how does it impact the audience? That's what newsrooms are looking for. Their audience are their viewers, their readers, their listeners. So think about, is this anything that's going to be of interest to that particular newsroom's audience? Number 2, how many people does it impact? That's important as well when you consider whether or not to do a press release or approach a newsroom with a story idea. This is an important one as well. Is it tied to a trend? And if you haven't considered that, think about that and maybe making that the most important thing or the first thing that you mention in your press release or your individual pitch to a journalist. Newsrooms are very big on doing local angles to the big national story. Or, for example, is something happening with your business tied to what's happening in the local economy? That may be something you might want to mention in your press release or pitch. And finally, what's the visual? Is there anything involving your particular news item that would make a good photo op or an interesting visual? That is something that is very important to newsrooms. And if it's a good piece of video or a good picture, they might be more likely to at least give your particular news item a second look. So 4 simple things to consider as you write your press release or think about whether or not something happening within your business or organization is worth approaching the news media. I hope that helps you a little bit with your question, Jana. Thanks for tuning into this edition of PR Playback.